recording yourself. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Right.
I think it's already been recorded,
Right.
so we can get started.
And your
Yeah. You.
Oh, okay, yeah, I think it works. Just so we just get started, right? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So hi everyone, my name is MinfeiChen. I'm currently a incoming fourth-year PhD student from EC Electrical Computer Engineering Department from UW. And my research interests focus on AI and multi-model spatial, these kind of things it can be applied for wearable glasses and robotics. And today I'm going to talk about my path from my undergrad period to a real AI research scientist and now senior PhD student. And it's not really easy, and I'm going to just quickly go through what I have been and maybe just show more hands-on experience on how we can make this thing happen. And if you guys have any questions, you can always interrupt and ask the question. Yeah, so I just did a very quick introduction for myself. And I'm currently also a PhD fellow at Google Fellowship Program in North America. And I'm currently a research intern at NVIDIA Research. I work in collaboration with AI Mediated Group and NVIDIA Seattle Robotics Lab. And we're working on human robotic interaction. And previously, I've been research intern in so many companies, AI labs. So in 2019, I was a senior. I was actually I was a senior student in Washington University of Technology and Science and Technology. And at that time, this is my first job being in ByteDance, which aka you also know as TikTok. And I was a research intern in TikTok group. And also, I also spent several years in System AI and also in Singapore, CA Lab and National University of Singapore. And also, I spent 2 years in Meta, and now I'm a fellow in Google, and I'm also an intern in NVIDIA. I will talk about all the experience, actually. Yeah.
I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
Back to 2019.
Uh-huh.
What was your status at the time?
A senior student, undergrad.
Undergrad.
Yeah.
That's your first intern.
My first intern, yeah. I have no idea how to do research, and I just have a lot of paper. Yeah, I will talk about later. Yeah, so This guy is like AI in 2018. It seems like to be a very, very long time ago, and we don't have anything like coding agent. We don't have any fancy model like Gemini, ChatGPT. No, we have nothing. And I was working on computer vision at the time. As an undergrad student, basically I know nothing. And my first project was relevant to this kind of detection and recognition task, which is a very old task. Basically, you have one image, and then you need to use an AI model to detect what is and where is the bounding box for the human. And also, I give a cat picture, a dog picture. The model needs to tell you, is it a cat or a dog? Very naive task for now. But at that time, because we don't have any encoding agent, so we have to use TensorFlow. I'm not sure whether you heard of TensorFlow or not. It's a library very difficult to use. And we use TensorFlow to write all the structure by hand, and we don't have any library. So I remember at that time, I have two college students at V3. We wrote 9 by 9 for each of the layers, define all the shape, and use PDV, this kind of debugging tool, to try to figure out the shape whether it's correct or not. And I remember at that time when I see the loss was actually decreasing, I just feel so excited because it's not really easy. But now, you just can use Codex and Cloud, and it's very easy to achieve anything by using the agent. And also, I formed the first AI team in my undergrad in 2018. I cannot imagine. I was the first one founding a AI team for like image recognition competition. Yeah, that's very interesting because at that time, knowing about AI was not a very common thing, actually. Okay, so this is my first undergrad research in 2018. Actually, I was in transition from actually my second year to third year that time, and my my project was actually using generative advisor network. I'm not sure whether you have heard about that. It basically is a very naive way to do image generation. So at that time, we basically have a generator to generate the image, and then we use a discriminator to see what is real or fake. That's about 8 years ago. Yeah, people use that kind of way to do image generation, and we basically working on digital, like you say, digital image generation. And my project was using this technology to do multi-view image synthesis, which means that we can see you have a picture, multi-view picture of one bottle, and we have several images, and then we want to give you a new viewpoint, and we're able to generate that image exactly the same as this one. So my advisor was thinking about using this technology for some online shopping things, but even in 2024, people are still doing this kind of work. It's a horrible project for me when I was on the grad. So I feel very sad. I have no idea how this can work, and then I feel publishing papers should be a miracle. And I was very afraid to see my advisor because I just feel everything just too hard. And even in 2024, people are also using some model from Stability AI to do some very similar task. So that's how research comes sometimes. Just you may work on a very, very challenging project, and then you have no idea, and that's quite normal. And everyone has been through this kind of experience. But thanks to this experience, even I don't have a paper, but I can claim I have some very interesting insights. So that's how I get my first internship, because you can also talk to through the interview. Okay, I had that generative advisor research, and then people will feel very interested. Okay, you do have some experience. Okay, why not come to get an internship in our AI lab? At that time, I had no idea how to do research, but I do have my first internship in AI lab in 2019. That's in 2019. And my project was doing hand gesture recognition, which was also a very old task, like 7 years ago. And this can be applied to TikTok filters. You see, we have some very interesting games in TikTok, like you can use your hand pose to drive some games. And the fundamental technology behind this is we have to use the video to know what's the hand pose. And then after we know what's the hand pose, we can map to some different control pipeline, and then we can give you some interactive games on top of it. So this can be two applications today. And at that time, I feel internship can be very interesting, but that was not the truth, because most of the job was doing data engineering. So we found that the production progress in this kind of AI lab for companies basically using one method and try to improve the accuracy from 97% to 99% and even more. And we have test quality control people. They will always tell you, okay, there are some extreme cases the method cannot work, and then you should optimize it. And the way we optimize it, usually we can just optimize some data filtering pipeline and get some really high quality data, and then it can work. So nothing new at that time. I just feel even a little bit boring, but that was the truth at most of the AI company at that time. We just improve on the data things and try to optimize the model again and again. So that's how the things going on that time. Yeah. So coming to my first publication, finally, it was in 2020 to 2021. And also thanks to my experience to ByteDance, even I did a very boring jobs. But when I do an interview with this first time AI lab, and then I told them, okay, I had experience in TikTok, and I did some really interesting hand pose recognition things. And then it was like, okay, you may be a good fit for our internship job. And then that's how I get a internship job in a real research group in a large company. And that was my first work, which is we use computer vision method to detect human object interaction. You can see there's an image, and we need to use the model to detect, okay, there's a person riding the horse. And that's the project and how we can use this method. So at that time, SenseTime was doing some auto vehicle research. So, we have some camera in the car, and then usually some drivers will be too exhausted and they may eat during driving. And so they were thinking about maybe using this kind of interaction detection way can help us identify whether there are some dangerous actions inside the car, so we can do some alerting. that's how they have the project. Also, you can see that usually large company doing some research, maybe somehow relevant to their product, but not usually like that. They just want to do the research sometimes. And because I had some really great colleagues working on the thing, and also collaboration, so I had my first paper publishing on top conference PBPR. Was my first one, and at that time, the first time I know how to make a paper. So sometimes you may need to join a group, which their group has some really like senior expertise, and you can learn from them, get some hands-on experience. That's the best way and fast way you can like on top, just get yourself ready on some new track, like the research track. And after that, I feel, okay, I have my first application, so I'm totally know how to do the research. So I did some other research with others, collaborative work, like this is my first collaborative work with Udao. And also it turns out to be, I was wrong, because having a paper published doesn't really mean that you have a sense for research, or doesn't mean that you know what's right and what's not right. Or, I mean, even what's important and what's not important. Because in that company, people tell you what's the important direction, and then you do the paper, and then you got accepted. But you don't have the experience to identify a great or important direction yourself. So that's why when I do this collaborative work, even and there's so many things for the tracking, this kind of tasks, but I still didn't get this paper published. I just got so many rejections from this paper. And also I'm trying to apply for the PhD program, but I also failed. So yeah, that means you still need some other experience to make yourself a really mature AI engineer or research. But I do feel this experience also very important, because this is tracking, you have one video and then you try to track the person trajectory. This is a very important technology, can be applied to also auto vehicle and also robotics perception. So this kind of experience can also be valuable. Yeah, and this is my first overseas job. I took a job in Singapore, which is NUS and CAI-Lab. So CAI-Lab is it is an AI lab under the Shih-Chieh company. I'm not sure you heard about Shih-Chieh. So in this lab, we have so many really excellent engineers and research scientists. And I do a job, I do the project for also multiple. You can see it's a callback for my first undergrad paper project. I can also do some multi-view reconstruction, but 3 years later, it's not too late. And I messaged my first advisor. I was like, okay, your previous project was too challenging, but after 3 years, I'm able to do some multi-view reconstruct things. And then he was like, okay, it's totally fine, because that project was indeed very challenging. Yeah, very interesting callback. And in this group, this is the first time I take some glance at the spatial world and 3D things, which is also very important to my future research. And I also feel much pleasure out of this group, because sometimes when you join a very excellent group, you will see many talented colleagues. It can cause some pressure, and I would say most of the colleagues currently are professors in very top universities, and also even some are currently a tech lead for large company right now. Yeah, I don't really enjoy that scenario, but it do help you learn a lot. So that depends sometimes. Yeah. Okay, so that was my experience before I started my PhD journey. And after I came to UW, I made a decision to definitely turn my research direction to a totally new track, which is audio. I spent like 3 years working on computer vision, but my advisor told me, okay, you do have a 3D reconstruction experience. Why not you think about having that experience also on some new modality like audio? Because audio, there's a field that very few people will look into it, but it's still very important. Because there's a demo. There's no audio, but it's fine. So basically, when you
there should be.
there should be, but it's not really important actually. Yeah. So my point here is like when you navigate in the room, like this scenario can be VR, virtual reality. So sometimes you want to dive into a immersive scenario, but you can see most of the applications right now, they only have visual. You can only visually get immersed in environments, but you can never hear the same sound as you can hear in the real room. That's the problem. You can never get immersed in the real scenarios other than games. So that's why we have the this kind of research, trying to build a 3D model and representation for audio and visual together. And then people can achieve a, let's see, okay, so then like this demo, you can see we really navigate in the room. All the sound, this is generated by my AI model. So it's quite real. You can even hear the ambient noise and even the vibration sound of the air conditioner. So this is a quite, I would say a quite advanced technology at that time. This is actually in 2024. Yeah. I would say this is the only model, and this is the only demo in the world. You can see a realistic room, and you can also hear the real sound. Because Meta, this is interacting with Meta, and they have 3 engineers working 3 months to get this room captured. And I don't know any other companies that will be willing to spend such effort and money budget on this kind of capturing. So that's why we only have 1 demo in that room, but it's quite impressive. And then Meta, they have some different choices on AI things, and then the whole group, most of them get it out. But I would say it's still very interesting. Yeah. And over the 2021 to 2023, I spent like 2 years working on different direction of the audio video task, and I have also several publications on this field. I won't dive into much details, but I just want to give a sense that what I'm currently working on. Well, so even I feel this is a very important problem to have audio and video, because audio is very important. When I do my general exam, which you can just consider, when I try to propose my thesis to the committee, I got so many questions about why this is useful. And there are like 1 and 2 professors, they just kept asking questions. Like, I cannot imagine any application that this technology can be useful, and are you going to be the user yourself? So this is a very painful story actually. But if we really consider about thinking far, why this kind of modality can be helpful and why this is important, you can see there are actually many applications. Like I'm not sure whether you have any like Ray-Ban glasses, and also I know all the large companies like Apple, Google, and Meta within 1 or 2 years they will have AI glasses product in these 2 years. And so this kind of glasses assistant, if you only have visual perception, this is not enough. Usually you will also incorporate some audio signal and also have a better understanding of both the audio and the visual in the real world, because the world is created by audio and visual and other modalities. So it can be very important for the perception if we really want the glasses to be a really good product to help you perceive the world. And also it can help to improve the safety awareness. It can alert you when some dangerous things happen in your back. And also, Cosmos, I'm not sure whether you know about some video generation model or some game simulation. Now they're mostly visual plus some background music, but within the technology, we're able to create a really audio-video immersive experience. Yeah. So just in summary of my current research direction, I was trying to start from audio-video things and then to learn the representation of how we represent the multi-modality in a 3D world, and enable some other downstream tasks like spatial reasoning for wearables and robotics, and generative tasks for simulation, this kind of things. Yeah, and even for robots. So I know for a media company and also Meta, these companies, they have great focus change to some other directions to robots, and a very, I would say very promising but not really very mature direction is human-robotic interaction. You say if you really want a robot in your daily life, we don't really want a robot who can only adapt to the static environment, who can fold the clothes, who can cook, but never aware of any dynamic things in the real world. We don't want that robot. But sometimes we want a robot to be aware of, okay, there are some different people, they're walking, and even you can charm it. You can talk to the robot, and the robot will turn their head and face you and talk to you. And even at the same time, they can also perform the jobs. So that's what we call robotic interaction. You can consider on top of current robot model. This model will aim it to be aware of dynamic events happening and also be able to respond to any human interactions. So that would be the feature of really real robot deployment in the future in the real world. But you see, if we want to achieve this goal, to see and hear and aware all kinds of things, they all very important. So that's why our technology can be important. Even large companies are not aware of like most of the importance, but indeed in the 1 or 3 years, I would say this technology can be more and more important. And that's exactly how I get a job in media research. Yeah. So yeah. And also talk about job opportunity for AI researcher. So if you are doing if you aim for some research job in a company, you will just feel it's very likely to be a connection-wise and academia-wise things. Like these are emails for my mentor sent to me, and like the first one I try to get a job in Meta, and I just directly reach out to them to see, okay, I feel you are doing some very interesting things relevant to mine, and is there any job opportunity for me? And then he would just said, okay, yeah, we do have that one. And actually, I see your paper, that's very relevant, and let's connect. So that's one way. And also, sometimes if you're doing something that you feel interested, and someone from the large company, they will just email you and tell you, oh, I see we are want to do something, and I also see you are very interested in this direction. Why not just join us? So things can be quite different if you are getting a job in large company as a data researcher. Usually we identify what we are doing and we build our reputation, and then we reach out to some other people will reach out to you, and that's how we get a really fit job in a researcher field in large companies. So a little bit different, quite different from the ML engineer and other software engineer.
So for the first example, Israel.
Yeah.
So you approach them.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
How do you know who you should approach to?
Yeah. So actually, I had one student cited my work, and then we had some collection, and then he told me, okay, this work was done when doing the internship at the company, and I was like, okay, so your mentor may be interested in this whole field, and then I just sent an email to his mentor, and then so he also very interested, and he also joined my talk in a conference. So that's how we met.
Yeah. So I want to share with everyone, like I got many emails from students that asked me refer them some opportunity for internship with some jobs, but I unfortunately have to ignore most of them. The reason is the connection that MinfeiChen point out. If you have a concrete product or concrete work you've done in the past, and it's easier. That's the only way you can make the referral to that connection. But if you just wrote a message to professor, maybe just you were in their class, then you ask, oh, do you have industry opportunity for me? This if the only connection is that course, then you almost cannot get any referral. But I think MinfeiChen just show you one important example. To get referral, you want to start from your professional project together with the other friends, then as their intern opportunity, because you want to work on something they feel relevant, right? So look at all those messages. The reason why they are interested in potential intern based on one of the work they've done in the past. So the past experience is so important to build up your experience. Start from small, and eventually you will build big.
Yeah, right. I think that's very, very good point, and that's exactly I will have a set to talk about. I think what is important. Yeah. Okay, so just one set is facing to the new AI agent time. You will see like 8 years ago, we learned how to write the code, but currently everything is so crazy because even us, we don't write the code anymore. I cannot accept it. I couldn't accept it like 3 months ago because I feel I didn't write code, and I was like, is that really right? And then I interviewed with so many of my friends in large companies, no matter how senior they are and how they including some really amazing students and employees, and I was like, do you really write code anymore? And they was like, no, they don't. And even when I joined NVIDIA, my mentor, who is a principal, who is a tech lead in the group, he was like, okay, just having an agent repo, and then he put a lot of README and agent README, this kind of things, skills inside that repo, and he was like, okay, using agent all the time. So at this time, it just maybe can create some pros and cons. A pros is like everything is so efficient, you can do so many things. But I would say the cons here is if you guys, you are currently a brand new student in the field, and is it really okay to start with agent? So what is the important things? Like how can you identify yourself as a competitive candidate than others? Because everyone uses agents, so how can these things can be different? So that would be a brand new challenge in the new generation. So that's my point. So what is important? How can you make yourself different from others? So what we really think is important. So now, because previously, if you feel, okay, I do have experience in deployment, I have some engineering stuff, I can build demo quicker than others. So that was an advantage like even 5 years ago, but now you cannot claim that's an advantage. So then what is important? So you need to identify the problem you are trying to solve. So I would say stick to the problem that both important. I mean just like whether this one can be be used by a lot of people or make some impact that's important, and nobody solved the problem before. Challenging problem is all these are also, this can all be important problem candidates, but you need to choose the one you are really interested in. So for the point of you are interested in, I didn't believe it at all, like even 2 years ago. So at the first time when I tried to apply for PhD, all the professors will ask you a question like, what you are interested in. I was like, why this is important? And even for interview, just boss will always ask you a question, do you really interested in this or that? I was like, that's important because I can do a lot of things. I just want to get a job. I just want to get admitted in the PhD program. Anything can be interesting to me. So I can solve a lot of problems. I feel this problem is the really dumb question. Just I feel professor and boss will answer the question, but this is not mean nothing to a student. But I feel I was wrong because after you will finally become a senior, and when you become a senior, solving a problem is a very easy thing for you, and not to say having the agent. But then the hardest question is exactly which direction you want to choose. So you can never persist on a direction which is hard when you are not interested, when you cannot get happiness from it. And also, like even if you want to build a startup, it's also a question. So why you are the person to fund the startup? So usually you can have some relevant experience to make you having some different insights than others, and which you can also feel happy. So that can be a great criteria to help you figure some direction out of others. So that's the thing. You just think about which direction you feel really happy and you want to make impact in this field. You want to make some difference. Maybe this question means nothing for you at this time, but after 5 years, when you become a senior, this is a very, very important question. So I think you can think it earlier and build your background, build all the knowledge you want to pave the way to that direction. I think that's very important. And also second thing is because we do have agents and you can implement things really fast and quick. So I think you can just do not set limits on yourself. You can think whatever big problem you want, even it's crazy. And you think big, you just ask the agent to implement every single possible way to achieve that goal. And then you can fail fast. You can correct yourself fast. That's a very healthy loop in your current development and improving yourself. Just think big and try a lot of things and fail fast and cycle back. And that's the way that you can gain a real insight other than others, because others may see pieces of information from even short reels or some other like Twitter. They just have some random ideas, but they never tried it. They never have any hands-on experience. And everyone will feel they are very powerful right now because I have so many information. I have agent. I have knowledge, more knowledge than before. I can develop everything. But everyone have a sense right now. But who will have the real hands-on experience, hands-on insight? So that's the key that differentiates yourself from others, because you really know what's the right direction. You have tried, you have think big, and you feel fast to try a lot of things. So I think that's the way how you can make yourself different. And that's AKA broaden your horizon and build connection. Yeah, I think that's AKA broaden your horizon using different trials and also build connection. That's exactly what I mentioned. For the AI jobs, you can always try to talk to others because agent can help you get knowledge from website. But connection, the information through connections will never be captured by agent. Your personal connections will build your personal insights. So that's the thing you need to think more in this agent times. Try to connect with different experts and also like Professor said. So why these senior people want to talk to you? Because you are interested in something, just you show that I'm a huge fan of this direction. I paid effort to it. Even that, so if you really believe in that is happening and you make effort on it, even that's a professor with senior expertise or even a leader, high-level leader in some large company, they will get impressed by, okay, you have something to do, and then they will be supportive at the right time. So usually I think that's the way how we build real connections by identifying yourself are working on something. You have your you believe on something, you're working on something, and you identify yourself in that kind of training or expertise, and then you build a very good connection through that way. So that's how we make the connections work. And the last point is every effort will pay off sooner or later. Previously, I also don't believe it because I have spent several years, like 5 years ago, I spent several years. I really worked hard. I tried different projects, but I had 0 publications and I didn't even get a PhD admission. But every time, like if I spend that 3 months diving into one problem, I spend more effort than others on that specific problem. I can always talk about this experience when I'm doing interview. What do I build connections? Because this efforts, this experience make you a different people. So even you feel maybe I cannot get anything from this 3 months experience, but because you pay the effort will always pay off, even just later. And maybe just this experience, it will give you a new internship opportunity. And this internship opportunity can help you unlock more opportunities in the future. So just do something. I think that's very important. Like I have a failure on my first undergrad project, and I used that project to get my first internship. And because I had my first internship, even it's a boring project, and then I get my second internship to have the publication. And my colleagues in that second internship, they recommend me build a connection to the Singapore really high-level lab, frontier lab. And then by using that experience, my advisor at UW sees that, okay, I have a feed background with 3D, and then that's why I get a PhD admission here with spatial things. That's because I have internship in Singapore and working on spatial things. And because I have 3D audio visual, so Meta, I got a job in Meta, and then I work on spatial audio and visual, and then I built all my knowledge in this field after this 7 years to a huge framework that how I got a fellowship, and also NVIDIA very interested in like invest in this direction and asked me to do a very good project. So that's how you build yourself up, like step by step. Nothing will come at the first beginning, but just everything will pay off. That's what I feel during these years. And painful is very common thing when you are a beginner. But if you go through the things, you will just see so many different things and bigger world. Yeah, that's the end. So if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer those questions.
Right. Right. So now it's open for discussion. Feel free to ask any questions to me later. Let's start with so what's your interest, or what were your thoughts about your direction of study when you were in high school?
In high school?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, because at that time I was just I didn't even know like how many different careers can be in the future. I just focused very much to my exam. And I just feel at that time in 2016, AlphaGo, that time DeepMind has had AlphaGo. And I was like, okay, computer seems to be a really fancy, computer technology was really fancy. And also because when I try to choose my career, actually I think about my advantage. I was like, okay, I definitely cannot do any like physical, this kind of things actually. I really want to do some logic things. I like logic, so that's why I choose computer, but I don't really have a idea of what's in the future, but I hope I can have this idea earlier. So that's why if I can have the interest, I identify myself better at a time, I can start when the first year at my undergrad, I can start to do some interesting research. Actually, 2016 and 2017 were very good years for AI. If you really join some interesting research group, maybe I can have much better, opportunities at this time. So yeah,
Well, you got a Google Fellow, you have intern in NVIDIA, you also intern in Meta, and you still feel like you can do better. This is already dream potential for many people.
So people will always have different next level of goal. Actually, so every time when you at one stage, most people surround you will also be similar stage. And then you will only be able to see more senior people after you like jump to the next stage. But even at this stage, you can also see some few people who are really talented and they know what they want to do. They can do a lot of things, make impacts. And yeah, so for me, I think at this stage, I really hope to build more impact by building some reputation, make people believe in what I believe in, because I feel that's the correct way. We really, like, for example, we really think spatial intelligence and audio, this kind of things can be quite important. But the large company and even frontier lab, they may not believe in that. There was always a question like, why you think this is important? I think video can solve 90% of the problem. That can be some frustrating points that you want the things to be like making more impacts. And then you have to spend more effort on how to like promoting the things you are working on and how to prove to others that this is really important, and even make some prototype to convince others. So there will be always next stage.
I have a question. So if you're like starting without any like proper like research experience, how would you like start with like usually like people start with like a project or something and then like expand? How would you recommend on doing that?
Yeah, so yeah, that's a very good question. So usually there are two ways. One way is you can always learn something yourself and try to build more knowledge background. But I really highly recommend the second way. The second way is you try to like kind of join a group, so with expertise. So actually this one is hard, but I think it's very beneficial. So if you join like for example, if you join a group, even for intern, people for like intern for volunteer without any pay, but there are several students who already was like published paper, or they already had very successful research story, and then they will guide you some direction. Any direction they guide to you can help you like save so much time trying different things. And you can just focus on implementing something, and then you can follow the whole cycle. Having a big picture of what will happen. So that's very important. After you know, okay, so every step you will know, okay, this step is important, that step not important. And then the second thing is you kind of go back to yourself and think about what's my next topic. You try to understand how to select the topic and not just doing something guided by others. But the first step, if you join that group, try to join that group. That saves so much time. Try to find a mature project. Sometimes people will hire something. So that's why connection is very important. And how to make the connection happen exactly. You also still have to think about what you are interested in. And you convince the senior students you are the right person. And then they will just guide you to that direction. And even share some connection with you. That's how people get really, really good PhD admission in like Stanford or MIT. Sometimes they study from a project.
Thank you, that really helped.
Are you going to do the research? Are you interested in doing the research in the future?
I'm probably gonna find research opportunities, but it's like kind of hard to find ones, and like those like really prestigious ones are hard to get in. And I'm like a rising sophomore, so like I kind of want to start earlier.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, just identify yourself, build a really good webpage, and having a resume, and you can build some toy projects just to support you are really interested, not just like random select some projects. Usually people don't want to see that kind of resume.
You expand on like the website you were just talking about, like.
Oh, yeah, I can show you my website actually. So usually researcher will have website like this. Oh,
Can you check it okay?
uh,
Check out it okay in your screen.
yeah, I don't know how to check it.
No, no, to just escape.
Oh, escape.
Huh? Move there. Click
Oh.
zoom, then escape.
Okay, I need
Oh,
to.
yeah. Here you go.
Okay.
Then you can. Yeah, good.
Oh, yeah, okay. Good, yeah. So this is my website. People can have different website.
You can
So-
move. You can hide this. Okay.
Okay.
Then come here. Then hide. Hide the panel. Hide. Yeah. Hide all of them. You can also hide this one.
Okay, I think it's fine. Actually.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so, yeah, this is my
You
website.
zoom in, so we
I try to zoom in.
shift plus. Yeah, here we
Oh,
go.
yeah, okay, yeah, so usually we'll have, this is a researcher website, but I know for undergrad and other background, they can have different interesting website. So the website is showing like where did you come from, like where did you get your high school diploma and undergrad school, and who you have worked with, and news about yourself. And here I show my selective research work, but you can show some toy projects you have. Like, you can have a demo here and just short description what's about, and your and also your teaching experience if you have any, and volunteering experience and services and awards and honors you have. And very similar to LinkedIn, and just basically, I think most important thing here is show what you have done. And you can tag yourself, like I can tag myself working on, my current research is blah, blah, interest, blah, blah, blah. And anything you believe, you can even just write an essay here. So this is what I'm believing. And having the website to others, they will just directly see, okay, you are passionate, you know what you are doing and what you have done. So in a very straightforward way.
Let's look at your LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Right. Yeah, so I will just write something about, because like I believe there will be better mobile devices than current phones. I hate phones. I just feel we can make better phones. We don't usually just use a screen. We can basically really seminars interact with the world that can be possible. So that's what I believe, and how we can achieve it, something like that, just make people know what you really are interested in. And this is goals and experience, just yeah, this is a dramatic things because I have like 18 experience. I don't know why there's so many. Yeah, and your education certificate. Yeah, do something like that, so people can quote what you have written. Like when they send an email to me, they was like, okay, we are interested in blah blah, and you're also interested. I just copy paste what I write. So just make this in sticker. And I think LinkedIn is very easy to get the connection. You can just connect with each other, and you just give up like to others, and then anyone up like you, their connections will see your post, and you can get more and more connections. That's how I get 2,000 followers. But Twitter, I just put Twitter. Maybe Twitter is more interesting, but I didn't find a way to run my Twitter account properly, so I only have 100 fans in Twitter. But the friends were students in research or just researchers, some researchers. Yeah, but I run LinkedIn a lot.
Like, so do you get like some like research projects through like LinkedIn? Like, do they just like DM you?
I don't really trust connections directly through, I mean, that connection, project connection, because good projects, they will never.
They usually email, right?
Do
that?
Usually, yes. I think email would be more proper. So LinkedIn, I just filter out those asking for projects from LinkedIn. LinkedIn just connects, you just see the post and give feedback.
Oh.
So if you really want to reach out, you need to email them. And I also see a lot of emails from other students reaching out, trying to get collaboration. So if they just generally say something about themselves, I won't be interested. But if I see anything different from this student, And I will just I will just dive into the website and maybe schedule a meeting with him or her. So just show something different. Usually people will really respect students who are passionate, knowing what they are doing, and really like we're willing to give a try. So that's very good things. Yeah, that's the website. Yeah. I don't have anything to share actually. So any other questions actually? So are you guys all interested in research or AI field? So I just want to hear more about yourself. Just do you have very clear picture of what you want to do in the future right now? Right.
Not yet. It's like, I'm the rising senior here,
Okay.
and I'm kind of regrets because like went back to the high school year, I kind of like, not putting efforts in pursuing the research program and doing the projects, but like in part because like kind of switching my major like pretty soon. Like sometimes I feel like I'm the engineer. Sometimes I'm more interested in math,
Yep.
and later on I found myself better in physics or chemistry. So that's why like I'm kind of like jumping around.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll start. Many things I just do by myself and like kind of found interest through that. And yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think that makes sense. So you actually when I was in the first year and second year in my undergrad, I also didn't have any clear directions. Yeah, I don't even believe in interest at that time. So maybe just join some groups if you feel the people who believe in something or passionate, and just talk to them to see what's happening here. And then one thing here, just like if you are not really if you're not sure that you are okay with the research pace and interested in research, do not really commit yourself to a PhD program too early.
Give it a try.
Yeah, it's really painful. I had some junior students previously. They just want to give a try for research, and it turns out it's super painful. Some people they just don't really like the research because real research progress is really painful because there are long time you have zero positive feedback. You get so many negative results from experiments. I spend so much time. You don't have a spare time actually. Such a like negative feedbacks can sometimes make some people feel really unacceptable, but some people feel okay. They're totally fine with this progress and they try to make something out of it. That depends. So I really recommend you to give a try first. Just finish the cycle of the research first to see how it works, and then to start a PhD journey. Otherwise, it should be faster. Yeah, so every time when I'm not sure about feature, I just talk to others. Just having some coffee chat and then hearing what others feel like, what others are interested in. When you talk to 10 people or even more, you can see something common interest. And then that may be some training things. And yeah, just a way for filtering information out of the connections. I think we have time to.
Yeah, and we have one last question. Listen or
Any questions?
Yeah, you can actually.
focus? Yeah.
Okay.
Questions.
You can actually connect with my LinkedIn if you are interested. If you have any questions, I was just.
If I get your email or something if I have questions.
Yeah, maybe LinkedIn, you can message me, or email is fine.
Yeah.
I can just, my website is just MinfeiChen.com. My name.com.
Well, you can see from the agenda page actually.
Oh, you have
Yeah,
another page?
right.
Yeah. So I have my
Yeah,
email.
I'll share that with everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything.
Thank you, Minfei.